And Are You Okay is a not safe for work podcast, so any young listeners are discouraged from continuing. However, we literally have no way to track that, so do whatever the hell you want and enjoy the show.
Not the hair editor.
You don't got the hair editor?
I'm the same way. I like.
So we got hats.
Yeah.
I'm too far away from my hats right now.
Team 2 box, the hat edition. It's the hat edition.
Yeah.
The hat.
Maybe we should just get a hat with 2 boxes on it.
Oh my god! Well, this is a perfect time for 2 boxes because it's about lesbians, don't you think?
Yeah. Actually, it's the best time for 2 boxes. I don't think we've ever had confirmation space lesbians. Oh no, that's not true. On Andor, there were definitely space lesbians.
Yeah, there was.
Although, ironically, it did not come up when we actually made the 2-box joke because we were just talking about Andor selling.
His sister selling her.
Just how great that show was. That's what it was.
Yeah, no, Andor was great.
It was so good, we were distracted that we didn't talk about the lesbians before. So now,
and also I got in trouble.
So now we're going all in. We're going all in on the space lesbian supremacy. Lesbian talk in June. It's right on brand. It's right on
Pride
brand.
Month.
It's Pride Month.
It is. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Shout out to all of the LGBTQ plus individuals who happen to also like a galaxy far, far away. I am your host. Oh, and to Yali, of course. Yeah. Well, I'll get to you. I haven't got it. We'll get to you.
And we support all space lesbianism on this podcast.
It's true. All of it.
Just want to put it out there.
And we'll talk about some space lesbians. However, I am your host, Mikey C, the man with the 2
boxes.
About 1 second.
I have 2 boxes. I was trying to come up with a Star Wars pun on the spot, and I really fucked that up. I'm no longer Darth Plagueis the Wise. I'm Darth Plagueis the Uninformed. Because I don't know the most about the High Republic, but I'm happy to be talking about it. And I'm here with my co-host, Matthew Porter, the Rogue One, the Rogue Only, Smack Talker Skywalker.
Baby.
How you doing, Matt? You checked in?
Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, the main man from the Grey Hoodie Gang, fresh off my 95, about to hit hyperdrive, punch it, Chewie.
You love to hear it, and we are also once again graced by the presence of our favorite space lesbian, the executive producer of Dragon Ball for Life podcast.
All caps.
All caps. Yali Perez. We need to give Yali a Star Wars name. She's part Team 2 box. She doesn't have a Star Wars pun in her name.
I'm fine with being the space lesbian.
I mean, Latinx Barbie is her space name.
Space lesbian works.
No, that's her starship. That's her starship is the Latinx Barbie.
Yeah, that is her starship.
No, I'm happy being a space lesbian. I felt very seen during this episode. I was like, oh, there's a whole planet full of my people. Why didn't I get an invitation?
She said, let me in that coven.
For some loving.
It's gonna be some ascension tonight. That's all. It's gonna be ascension.
Well, before we dive into our coverage of The Acolyte,
I like my Coven with some loving. Name of this episode.
Episode 3. You are listening to And Are You Okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
A Star Wars podcast. Thank you, Matt. I'm going to do a brief little thing of what we're going to do today, and then I'll do my usual thing where I go and give a long-winded description of the episode.
In one breath, guys. Commitment.
I tried.
Commitment.
So The Acolyte continues with episode 3, Destiny. We're going to discuss this flashback episode as well as the nuances that beg the question, what are they not telling us? Through context clues and carefully constructed dialogue. There's been several murdas, and we are going to give our best guess as to what murda. All right. Well, to, my space lesbian friend and my co-host, are you guys ready for me to hit this thing? Are we going to punch it?
We about to hyper dive right in.
Right in. We open up 16 years earlier than a present-day timeline on the planet Brendok. We see Osha under a bunta tree playing with butterfly-like creatures before her sister May tracks her sister down and shows off her more aggressively natured connection to the Force before the sisters squabble about ascending, prior to their birth mother, Coral, catching them outside the walls of the compound where they should not be. Sol spies from afar. Their other mother, Anasea, greets them at home before sending them to their training. Anasea and Coral share an intimate moment where they disagree about their daughters, and Coral reiterates her concern for them, especially with Osha running off constantly. At the training, we see Anasea and other witches in the Coven utilizing the Force by referring to it as a thread and how it ties you to your destiny and binds you to others. After some demonstration with the training, the training gets interrupted by Osha and May again fighting. Training ends early as the Coven is alarmed by a sound in their compound. Osha and May discuss the ascension with Anasea. Osha expresses her independence and indifference in not wanting to become a witch, upsetting May in the process. Anasea insists that the thread connects them and has connected them before they were born. The ascension ceremony commences in the evening, and May is branded a witch, but before Osha can ascend, the Jedi reveal themselves, stating that they have the right to test any children that they believe may possess a strong connection to the Force. Osha reveals herself and her sister to the Jedi, and Sol asks her if she wants to become a Jedi. It is revealed after this that Anasea is responsible for impregnating Coral through means of the thread. Osha agrees, and the Coven allows Osha and May to be tested by the Jedi. The following day, May and Osha go for testing, but May makes Osha promise to lie to the Jedi. Even though Osha lies during her test, the Jedi catch on, and Osha continues her test with full honesty. Osha decides she wants to become a Jedi and has a final conversation with Anasea where they express their love for each other before Osha packs her bags to leave with the Jedi. May refuses to believe it or let Osha leave and starts a fire. From this point forward, we only see things from Osha's perspective as she's escaping. She watches her sister fall into a deep cavern and is saved by Sol before suffering a similar fate. As Sol and Osha escape, they see the bodies of everyone in their coven, including her mother Anasea. Osha awakens aboard this Jedi ship to the revelation that they have gone and she cannot go back, embracing Sol, her new master, as the episode comes to its close. Oh, that was more than one breath.
That was not one breath, I'll tell you that.
It's all good.
I do have a couple notes here. I know you guys have my notes. I sent them to you. But before we dive into kind of like this deep discussion, and I really do want to hand it off because I'm sweating over here. Eagle-eyed viewers notice the following, and I think it's going to be really vital to our discussion. Mother Coral is not present in the pile of bodies. I also went back and looked and like zoomed in, and she's not there. And Torben, out of focus, has his scar.
Has the scar.
So clearly we haven't seen the full picture of this event. I'm sure we will revisit it from other characters' perspectives. I'm going to throw it off to Yali first. Hit me with your thoughts about like what is going on. Like this is hit me with your best shot. What do you believe is the truth of the matter? Who instigated this tragedy?
Definitely the Jedi instigated the shit, for sure. I watched it a couple times. From my perspective, I don't think that Sol was there when it started, because it's his understanding that May started the fire. So he doesn't seem to like. After watching, like, I rewatched everything, and like when he talked about the fire, he made it seem like we both saw like May started. You know what I mean? So in his mind, May started the whole situation. Also, when he talked about he's talking to Osha, and he was like, that will never happen to you again, or whatever. Like it felt very truthful. Like it didn't feel like he lied, and I don't believe that he would lie. Maybe he's just like really good at it, but to me, he just feels like a very honest person. So I feel like maybe whatever transpired, he wasn't there for it, or maybe he was only there for part of it. I think definitely Coral and Torben with the hair, definitely, because I would love to know what the fuck stressed his ass out so much that all the hair just went.
Hey, my man hairline pushed all the way back.
all the way back.
Them 16 years was not kind.
No, it was not.
I think maybe him and Coral definitely popped off, and then maybe that's how he got the scar. Coral's body's definitely not there. Jedi definitely started the fire. I would love to. The Jedi started the fire. Coral's definitely not there. She's definitely alive somewhere. Torben has a scar because he was definitely popping off with somebody. And I don't think Sol was there when it all started. I think he definitely believes May started the fire. I think he doesn't really know what happened with the Jedi. And I also don't think that is in his character. I don't think he would lie about like what happened. Or maybe that's just my wishful thinking. And also just that Lee Jung-jae is so good of a fucking actor that I just believe that he wouldn't do it. So, that's just my take.
Do you agree with Yali, or do you have a different take?
I have so many thoughts. I don't even know where to start.
Start with who you think instigated. Yeah.
I got you. So remember, pre-episode 1 and 2, I had said, you don't bring Carrie-Ann Moss to kill her in the first episode and only have her do flashback sequences. I'm coming back. I got off of that last episode. I'm circling back that I think that she's still alive, and I think that she has a lot to do with whatever the fuck happened. I don't know whether that's good and or bad, but all right, let's break it down. I'm gonna be all over the place. Y'all gotta walk with me. So I don't think Sol instigated the situation, but I do feel like he was there, and because he rides right, he's like, fuck, now I have to get involved. Cause like he showed up really quick when Oshi escaped and got through the hatch and everything. He pulled up in that cave. How he know a way around them bases? But he pulled up really fast. I will say, I'm calling it now. I feel like we're gonna get, like you said, Mikey, the back half of the episode, I feel like was from Osha's perspective, like how she remembers the events. I feel like we might get another episode where we're going to get, I don't know if it's like the true version of events or like another character's perspective. I think it'd be dope to see May's perspective of that night, of what happened. Because like there's a couple different things that don't sit right with me. One, May clearly like loves her sister, so the whole like, oh, I'm gonna kill you thing, that didn't feel like that was her that said that. And the part where she was like really entranced by the fire before she like allegedly dropped the lamp, and we don't see her drop the lamp, we just see her light the book on fire, and then she's kind of like entranced by the fire, and then we just hear the shit break. And when they cut back to the hallway, May's gone, like nowhere near the area, and like little legs can only move but so fast. And I also find it hard to believe that fire spread that quickly, because like it was just in that doorway, Osha gets through that little tunnel, and then all of a sudden the whole fucking fortress is on fire. So I'm calling Cat that started the fire. Hearing Sol tell her at the end that like, oh, May started the fire, it seemed very, this is our story and we're sticking to it, we don't need you digging. Because it's like, for me, it feels like now knowing that Osha never saw May start the actual whole fire, like she felt very convicted that, oh, my sister started this fire that killed everybody I love and ruined my life. Even them traveling through the tunnels and stuff, all the dead witches, how did they die? I didn't see no rubble. That it seemed like it was a cave in. There wasn't really no rocks around them. They weren't burnt. I'm calling Cap on smoke inhalation. like I don't know like how they died. I do find it very telling that they don't show what the one mom looked like with her body. They just kind of walk past her, and they don't show like what wounds she suffered. You just kind of see her parts of her body and whatnot. So I do find that part to be very interesting. I also feel like the whole back half of the episode, coming from Osha's perspective, she's an unreliable narrator. Even the whole thing with May falling and then her ending up at the tree where she always goes, where she couldn't find her sister, she just had a couple dirt smudges on her. That don't look like a baby that just fell 1,000,000 feet off of a catwalk down into some rubble. She seemed like she had her faculties about her. So I don't know if the one mother who carried the kids like did some possession magic to make May start the fire to drop it, but I do find it very not telling that they make it a point to show her take the book, burn the book, but then like they show the view from inside the room when you hear the candle or whatever the fuck that was smash. I don't know where Carrie-Ann Moss fits into all this, but she gives me shady vibes. I was trying to like think of situations in which Jedis just told straight lies to people, And I couldn't really think of one, but Carrie Ann Moss straight lied when they was like, "Oh, why are you here?" She was just like, "Oh, we thought this planet was uninhabited." They was like, "Fuck out of here." She was like, "Yeah, you right. That's not why we're here." Like, you got me. But I thought that was interesting that she would just resort just to a straight lie. Like, even if with the Jedi having, like, I guess first dibs on Force sensitive kids, like, they know why you're here. Like, they know that there's kids here. Like, why go through that whole pomp and circumstance of like, oh, we thought this planet was inhabited. Then why the fuck would you be here? Like, if you thought the planet was inhabited, what would be the point in you coming out to this planet? So, like, I just thought I found that to be very interesting that her as a Jedi Knight would have resorted just to straight lie. One thing that I will point out, I think we might know how Torben got that scar. So I went back and watched like one of the sizzle reel trailers, and there is a scene where the Wookiee Jedi actually like attacks Torben. There's no context to this scene, but you actually see him like jump with his lightsaber and like take a slash at Torben, and it's like just part of the sizzle reel from the last chapter that we did the review for like our what are our thoughts. So definitely seem that there's gonna be a conflict that happens in that same space. And again, I don't know like if we're gonna get like just an actual episode of what actually happened, or if we get it from like other characters' perspectives as to how that night went down. But I'm in full agreement with Yali. The Jedi definitely started the fire somehow, whether it was that they instigated a situation that led to some fire happening, or if like, I don't think it was maliciously done, like, oh, we got to burn this shit to the ground to cover our paths. But definitely whatever conflict led to that, it was perpetuated by the Jedi. Going back to May's line about, you know, when she was saying like, oh, Jedis do pull their weapons first sometimes, like that's a lie from the very first episode. But I do feel, again, going back to what Yali was saying, I don't think Soul is front and center at the fuckery, the list of the fuckery, but I do think that he was either present and or knows exactly what happened, and like they're like, all right guys, like this dies with us, like this secret dies with us, because it did just feel like when he was like consoling her at the end, again for me, it felt, I don't want to say rehearsed, but it seemed like that was just like, it seemed too on point for me. Like I said, like just the cadence and the delivery, like, oh, May started the fire, it killed everyone.
But he didn't say that.
He didn't say that?
He didn't say that. He actually let her. OSHA was the one who said May started the fire, and then he like let OSHA do all the talking.
Okay.
And like she just, you know, he was the one like letting her speak and letting her kind of like get her emotions out,
and then
that's
told her
why
that they couldn't go back, right? Like
he
put a kibosh on them going back to investigate.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, if that's the case, I definitely feel like he knows what the fuck happened and it was present for
He
her.
actually never said much of anything. He was just like, you know...
Yeah, I promise this will never happen to you again.
Yeah, with a shoulder to cry on.
Go back, you know, those are things we can't do, you know. He's like, I'm sorry, you know, more of like an I'm sorry or whatever, you know.
And also, he took a lot of ownership.
There was a far, you know, there was like, I think OSHA was the one that said like, May started a fire, not she started the fire. You know, like that she started a fire. He didn't say she all of that shit was because she did it. You know, she started a fire, that type of situation, and that like I don't know.
I think there's like a level of.
I guess I'm just kind of rounding up because in the previous episodes, the delay got us again.
It's always me.
I was just saying, just from like previous episodes. Soul has said that, like, oh, May started the fire that killed her family. Like, he had mentioned them when they were like talking about like what happened in the past and stuff like that. So he did. I feel like he said that.
It's always OSHA.
Oh, he didn't
Soul
say
has
that
said. Soul has said that May started the fire.
Yeah, I was about to say he definitely.
May started a fire, but he never said May started the fire that killed the family. It's always.
I feel like he did when he was recanting the story back to. When they were,
he never said it was the fire that killed the family. He never uses the word that killed everyone. It's May started the fire. May started the fire, but never that killed everybody. It's always OSHA who puts the blame of the death of everything on May.
Gotcha.
On May. Like, but he just acknowledges there's a fire, but he never says. And maybe that might lead credence to what Matt is saying. Like he knows that the fire has nothing to, like, the death doesn't have anything to do with May, but he never says May killed everybody. Gotcha. It's always Osha who says...
lies of omission, baby.
Yeah, it's always Osha who says May killed everybody, May killed everybody, May killed everybody, and he never goes, May killed everybody. Like, he doesn't do that.
It's so funny how...
I'm rolling.
Like in any other Star Wars story, it would like be like semantics, but because we're dealing with like a mystery, it's like these clues are so crucial that like even you end up like reading into like every line of dialogue as like
he never
sort of
flat out says May killed everybody. He just acknowledges like there was a fire.
Right.
You know, and May was there.
People died. Think what you want. But I will say the one thing that did like have my like conspiracy theory ears on alert, just like him saying like, "Oh, we can never go back." It's just like, what? Like, what you mean you can never go back? Like, it's like, what don't you want her to see? Like that she can never go back home, like ever? Like, if everyone's dead and we're escaping, she's about to be trained. Why couldn't she like return at some point in time?
Yeah,
this and that, unless there is like some type of cover up. But they got me. They got their hooks in me.
No, I appreciate these theories. I don't have. Okay, these aren't like super concrete. I think you guys are much closer to the thread than I am. Huh? Pun intended.
The thread.
See what you did there.
I think because he's been so quiet and because he was so quick to kill himself, that I think Torben instigates the confrontation because he's upset about how they possessed him with the Force so easily, or when he went there. So he was upset, and he starts, and that maybe is why Kelnaka confronts him to stop the conflict. But I also think the way that all the bodies are laid out there, and Coral's missing, like the fact that she's not there, I think Coral or Anastasia rips the life force out of them in order to fight the other Jedi. Which is pretty dark, but I really truly believe that like one of them did that in order to fight them off and protect Osha and May, or try and keep them from coming.
Yes. One thing with that too, again, I really kind of look at this episode as just like unreliable narration. Like, I don't know if I necessarily believe everything that has played out, because it's like, if we're left with shit up in the air and we're like trying to figure out, like you just said, like, oh, we things that we know, shit happened, something happened, like there was a conflict, definitely a fight that led to a fire that caused all the witches. Well, they were dead. Like, so we know that, and I'm definitely rolling that Torben got his panties in a bunch, that he got possessed. He don't like it. he wasn't gelling with that. The things where I am like, shit that doesn't make sense, and kind of I feel like it was intentionally done like that, like the whole conversation that Osha had with Magic Mom just doesn't line up with everything else that happened after that. Like, she was understanding, she like let them go get tested, like she was just like, if you want to be a Jedi, go be a Jedi. So for her to then turn around and then possibly be a part of a plot to like kill the Jedi so that the kids can't go, doesn't line up. The thing that I don't know, I'm not sure which part's the bullshit. I don't know if the conversation that she had with Oshi was like the cat, or if like what happened afterwards is the cat. But I do feel like we're gonna see a lot of those scenes again differently. Like, they're gonna like different dialogue, different play out, different perspective and whatnot. And I'm here for it. But I'm still rolling. Carrie-Anne Moss is up to some shit. She did some shit. And Torben definitely being her Padawan. And then I also look at, I went back and watched episode 2 because I was I didn't remember when Torben like took his vow of silence, and they said that he took it 10 years ago. So it was 6 years after whatever happened, and we know that he receives the rank of master. So I'm like, if he did some fuck shit, how did he get the rank of master? Unless his master might have capped for him. Like, she was like, oh yeah, like he's cool to take the trials, like he's an upstanding citizen and whatnot. And that's either like she's culpable in the cover up, or she on some dastardly shit. I heard a theory that I won't say that I came up with myself when I got stuck into a wormhole, but I'm sure some of your questions are gonna bring that up. So I'll leave that there. We'll bring it up when we get there.
So so quick question here for everybody, because it's not exactly like, obviously it relates to the show, but it is a little outside of like the context of the show. My one big takeaway I had for this was, I think in this Disney Plus era of content, the pacing of them has felt like they typically do an exposition dump episode like this in the back half of the season. To me, that has always killed the momentum of the back half of the show, and it ends up getting received poorly because of it. I'm not saying I don't like the contents of this episode, but from like an exposition type, like, this really was very story heavy. It was important for us to have this context, especially if we're going to go back to these scenes. Do you guys think that they made the right call here, putting, I don't want to call it a show-stopping episode, but an episode that like very much took us away from the main plot of the story and threw us into a flashback? I personally think from a pacing standpoint, we're going to look back on this and be like, that was the best thing for the show. How do you guys feel about that?
Because I feel like we might get this episode a bunch of times from different perspectives, at least a minimum of one more time, we're going to get like what actually happened play out again. Because we're going to come back to this again, I'm not mad at it being the third episode. Just because, like, I wouldn't have wanted it to just be like 2 episodes in a row, like, oh, what we thought happened, what actually happened. That would have took me out of this shit completely. I'm like, all right, enough of the fucking flashbacks. Like, so I'm cool with it being so early, because one would assume that we might get back into current times next week. And then, like what you were saying, Mikey, these exposition heavy episodes that are usually like the penultimate episode, that they might go back to that formula again to like reveal what actually took place that night. Because I would imagine, I feel like it's right there for May and Oshi to have a conversation, and she's like, fuck you mean? I didn't say I was going to kill you. Why would I kill you?
See things from like May's perspective instead. Yeah, I agree. Yali, how do you feel? Do you think from like a pacing standpoint, this is going to benefit the show, or do you think that maybe fucking with the formula wasn't the right call?
I think that this is probably the right time to do it, because at this point we've been introduced to the twins, and we need to, I think it does a good job of introducing the dynamic of them and how different they are, and like their abilities with the thread or the force, however people want to determine it, and why there's such a juxtaposition in how skilled they are. Like, it shows why May is much more skilled at it, because she went through the ascension process, and Oshi did not. And it seems like it's like May is a witch and a Jedi, if that makes sense.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And,
May the Witch and the Jedi, name of this episode.
May the Witch. Oh my god, yes. And I personally, as somebody who is a writer and is a creative, like, I don't mind an exposition heavy episode if it serves a story, and I feel like this really serves a story. I also agree that we are probably going to get this particular story more than once throughout it's going to be sprinkled probably throughout the entire rest of the show. And I also like that it's kind of like a palate cleanser. The first 2 episodes were kind of like heavy in action, and in a story or a show or any type of thing, you're going to need like a break from something that's really action heavy. Very, the first 2 episodes were not story heavy. There wasn't a lot of information. There wasn't a lot much of anything. It's a lot of trying to figure out the pieces and kind of you need more information so that when you move forward with the action makes sense. You need to understand why these characters move a certain type of way. They flow a type of way. Like, all of that stuff would make sense when we jump back into the story, you'd understand why May is so much more stronger than Osha. You understand the motivations and everything like that. So I think it made a lot of sense to have like this big exposition story, and you understand their motivations. You understand why May is so fucking angry, and you understand why Osha is a little bit more hesitant, and you understand why Soul is so caring, and all these other things. Like, it made the most sense to have it right there, kind of like in the middle per se. So then, like I said, when we jump back into it, all of these things make more sense, and the characters feel more relatable and all these other things. So I thought like that was a perfect place to put it. And also the coloring of it was very different too. Everything else was kind of like gritty, and like the only real pops were the yellow, and then this kind of blue heaviness. It's like, it's such a stark change. Again, if even from a color standpoint and color theory, it was just it was very well thought out. You can tell somebody really thought about the placement of this. So just from like all of the production standpoint, I was very very pleased by it. I
like that call out that
Lindsay
like the
really
Coven
thought about it.
Yeah, I like that the call out that Coven is very blue. The Jedi have been very like yellow and gold. I mean, really, like, opposites. Not that we haven't seen other lightsabers, but like Yord has been the one to draw his saber the most, and he has a yellow blade. So like, yeah, you're
gonna do shit with it.
And hopefully at some point we, if we're hitting the primary colors, like I hope that like maybe this story ends on red, right? And
I think so.
So. Great call out there, Yali, and I think you'll both agree with this, but feel free to call me out and disagree. In a murder mystery or a mystery type show, you want to have the story push you in a way where you think you know what's going on, just to pull the sheet out from under you. So I think that it's the right call. I'm ready to dive back into the actual like plot of things, but
real quick, because I want to add something to the production choices to go along with Yali's point. I know the two girls are sisters. I don't know if they're twins, but not casting identical twins was the smartest thing ever. Like actually being able to differentiate which kid was which, I felt helped so much. Because it wasn't like I got to figure out which twin is which to like be able to like form a connection. Because like I said, I do know that you could tell they're siblings, and I looked them up. Their last name is Brady, so they're clearly related. But like again, if they are twins, I would assume they're fraternal twins because they definitely don't look alike. And I just feel like obviously having Amanda Sterling play both characters for them to be identical twins as adults is cool. But having the kid actors not be identical twins was a great casting choice, because like I really felt that connection with each individual sister, because I could tell them apart. I was like, oh, okay, that's what you're talking. Like, oh, okay, this conversation is happening with this sister. I also thought, to like lead us back into the story, making Osha the one that wasn't sipping the Kool-Aid, what an unexpected twist. I thought May would have been the rebellious one that was like, yeah, fuck this shit, I do what I want. But like having May be the one that like, oh no, everything I want is here, like security, safety,
totally
order, like let's stay here.
Everything.
Yeah, and Osha's just like, yeah, no, I want to do some other shit. I'm not rolling with this. Like, I want to be around other children. I like that a lot.
You make such a good point, because May had her safety net and blanket like ripped away from her, and now we see what the repercussions of that are. Osha has walked away from not only her coven but also the Jedi. She's kind of
and she stayed in an order. Like she's the person that wanted to explore the universe, and you went from one secure situation to another secure situation. So it was just like they literally ended up doing like the opposite thing that they wanted in life, and it like got them to like where they are now. Which again, I talk often about like low hanging fruit when it comes to like TV shows, and I always say plots going plot. So like I said, I feel like it was very easy for them to have just been like, oh, May's the rebellious twin, Osha's like the do-gooder, but like having it be the other way around, I like that a lot.
Yeah, subverting the expectations. And it's funny, we've spent such little time with them, yet they feel very complex. And speaking of them, and I think this is something that it's been hinted at in Star Wars a lot, we know that it's kind of responsible for Anakin's creation, where Plagueis and Sheev fucked with the Force and the Force fucked back. But we hear a clear...
The Force fucks back, name of this episode.
I think we may have already used it.
We probably did.
Did.
That's why it sounded so good to me.
But it's very...
Mikey, can I ask you a question real quick? Sure. On line with that, are the Vader comics canon?
They are, yeah.
Didn't the writers like go on record like saying like, oh hey, just because Sheev said that people fucked with the Force to make Anakin like be born out of the midichlorians, that doesn't mean that that's actually what happened?
Yeah, okay, so they have gone on record, but it's still kind of like it's implied.
That's like the leading theory.
It's a leading theory, but it is definitely not the end all be all. No one has actually. Oh, we lost our favorite space lesbian, but I'm sure she will. I
guess we'll just keep going.
She'll be back. I'm gonna. Yeah, so
I'll fill the time if you need me to go real quick. Yeah, because because the one thing, I'm sorry, the delay. Go ahead.
Always. So Star Wars Explained, want to shout out them, did a video on this where they said that they've gone on record stating that the panel from the comic where like Palpatine is like there around Shmi, like manipulating things, is very much like just like
whirly shit in
exactly
her room.
It's not a literal interpretation of him impregnating Shmi. However, he did say in that video that Plagueis in the novel, Darth Plagueis, him and Sheev like pushing the Force towards a dark area, the Force ends up creating Anakin as a response, right? So they are intertwined, but not exactly the way people think, where it's like Palpatine created Anakin. No, they're not related in that way. It's Palpatine and Plagueis' actions forced the Force to make that change, right?
You know what's funny? Because I had seen a part of the theory that I want to bring up once we get to that part, and I'll wait for Yali to get back. But I had seen somebody put out a fan theory because I had seen that same thing. Like, the Force kind of like facilitated Anakin's parentage to like help bring balance out because, we were like entering the dark times or coming out of it. I actually saw someone put out a theory, which I kind of fuck with more than that, is like that was at the point where the Jedi were in like hype douchebag mode, and the Force was actually bringing Anakin to like bring balance to shift it plans back. Yeah, it's like shift it back. Like, yeah, y'all are some pompous assholes now. We kind of need to humble y'all real quick. Y'all have gotten away from what the order is supposed to be. We need to give you some humble pie real fast. And that's like why Anakin had like the fall, which ended up bringing balance to the Force until it wasn't for 30 years.
Yeah.
Which I kind of fucked with a lot.
No, I agree. I think that's a fun... I don't think that's how it went, but I do think that's a fun theory. Like, I can appreciate the effort put into... I can appreciate that the same way I appreciate the, like, Mace Windu was originally told he might have been the chosen one theory.
He was
like,
the chosen one. I die
fun
on that hill that's canon. I'm staying with that one, bro.
Dude,
it makes so much makes sense. Like, it just... Like, why he's always such an asshole to Anakin is like, that was supposed to be me. Like it's just... It just makes all the sense in the world. Him, having the purple lightsaber that's a combination of blue and red. Like, he's like the most adept Jedi to like dark side-ness. Like, it just makes all the sense in the world for him to have been seen as the original chosen one. And they're like, yeah, nope. Even in episode 1, like that has that meeting, that has that initial meeting, because Mace is the one that's just like, oh, all right, bring him in. Like he's the one that's just like, fuck, I'm losing my spot.
But Mace Windu believes in absolutes.
Yeah. You can hear us elaborate on that theory more in another episode of Annie, Are You Okay? Where I think we just
a Star Wars podcast.
Spit out our favorite fan theories, and we're going to pause for station identification while we wait for our favorite space lesbian. All right, and just like that, snapped back into existence. Yali, gone but not forgotten.
Damn, Thanos strikes again. Look at Disney trying to make crossover events in our podcast. Like, all right, we get it, Marvel. Like, relax.
I don't know why they got to do stuff like that, but she's back from the blip.
Disney's gonna.
I promise you, it hasn't been 5 years. It's only been 10 minutes. But I was gonna tee up our next topic of conversation, specifically around just the fact that Mother Anastasia created through the thread life in Mother Coral, which very much harkens to a lot of things that have been talked about, Anakin's potential conception through the Force and stuff like that, and how this is quite literally the closest we'll get to people talking about sex in Star Wars is our lesbian witches actually, doing the damn thing and impregnating Mother Coral. So, how do you guys feel about the implications of that?
You think there was foreplay before the magic?
I think there was force play.
Oh, okay. Threading the needle. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. Yali, care to join us?
Double entendre. Don't ask him how.
So Sorry, I have literally nothing.
you gave us Lovin in the Coven. You gave us the name of the episode. That's all we need.
Oh, 100%. That's definitely going to be what it is. All right, so let's talk about our thoughts on its implications on canon. Do we feel like this is something that's going to eventually tie into Anakin's conception? How are you feeling about this, Matt? I know you've been kind of itching to talk about this subject, so I'll throw it off to you first.
Yali heard, she heard everything that I said, but we got to cut that. So I'll say it again. I will say, just in terms of like the actual confirmation that these are like magical babies that were made like using the power of the Force and the thread, I thought was cool because it's like actual confirmation instead of like speculation, which is like surrounding like Anakin's parentage and whatnot, what have you. I will say what I did say for the audio that we got to dump is, if Anakin was born from the Force, I do kind of feel like this being an ability that was obtained 100 years prior does kind of cheapen that for me, because it's like the pomp and circumstance of like the Force creating an entity that's going to bring balance in the chosen one, but it's just like, oh, the space witches knew how to do it 100 years earlier. It does make it feel a bit cheap for me, which is why I had asked you the question about the Vader comics, because I know like the leading theory is that the midichlorians were manipulated by possibly Plagueis and Sheev, or a combination of the two, to make Anakin be born, to be the ultimate evil or whatnot, what have you. But like the Vader comics said, like the Sith are unreliable narrators, you can't trust anything that they're saying. I still am kind of on the board that he was a midichlorian baby. I still do kind of subscribe to that until given other proof, but I'm not as strong in my convictions as I was when that was like announced back in, what was that, 03?
Is like a midichlorian baby 05, like the Star Wars equivalent of like a Petri dish baby? Well, guys, they do exist. That's how they do it.
I almost made a Beyonce joke that would have got us canceled, and you can bleep out the name Beyonce.
Oh, let's stay away from that.
Just bleep out the mentioning of those names both times. Just beat that both times. So at 4 minutes, at 44 minutes and about 35 seconds for the timestamp, just cut out her name altogether and edit point. but yeah, I like that concept. And again, the theory that I won't take credit for was saying that this possible dark side user, depending on the year, could possibly either be Plagueis or like the apprentice that Plagueis had prior to him finding Sheev, and maybe that person has been pulling the strings the whole time and he needed the twins and like he facilitated that taking place. So like whether, because the witches did mention that they were sent off into exile to the point of extinction, and that the twins were supposed to be like the continuing of like their lineage. So I don't know, maybe they made a deal with whoever this dark side user is, or their master, if there is a master, because I know that the word Sith hasn't been used yet, to possibly like create the twins for like the ultimate end game. Because I do feel like there is something very important. They made a lot of they made a big point to keep referencing like the power of two, like the power of one, the power of two, the power of all. And even when they were doing like the sparring session and they had like the other two twins kind of going against Magic Mom, so I was like, it would seem as if the twins' powers are amplified when they're together, and they're better as a set as opposed to a split, which might be like on some very early like, oh, I need these kids made to fill my agenda Palpatine plans 100 years prior to. Shit, this might have been the blueprint for Palpatine. He might have been like, hey, yo, they did this 100 years ago. Let's run it back. They forgot. Like, people forgot about the magic babies that are going to take over the world. Let's run it back.
Magic babies.
Yeah. but again, I really do. So I do like the actual confirmation that they were made from magic. But like I said again, just my Anakin stanness, my Stanakinness. New word.
Stanny, are you okay?
Stanny, are you? I'm not. No, Stanny's not okay, because I feel like they're taking away from my guy's origin story by giving other people this same origin story. But I do like it, especially like if it leads to like the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. If we get some kind of like more insight, or even if he's like directly involved in all this, I feel like that's always been for such a major scene and moment in Star Wars. We don't know shit about that man like that, for real. Like there isn't much known about, you know, like what he was getting into prior to the death. It's not even really confirmation that Sheev killed him. Like, yeah, we kind of all know that he did it. It's like, but it's never been like specifically said. So I'm all down for that. If that's the thread to connect us to the Sky Wars. You know what? They run everything. It is the Sky Wars. But if that's like the connected thread to like the Skywalker saga, I'm okay with that. Like, even though I'm like stop giving us Skywalker shit because we want new stuff, I'd be okay if that was the through line. Like the being able to create life through the Force.
Well, I want you to take the pin you're using to thread the needle and put a pin in the thing you don't like about it. I'm going to circle back to it, but I want to give Yali an opportunity to talk about her feelings on this subject. And then I have something that I think is, from a plot standpoint, might make you feel a little better about Anakin's origin. But I do want to hear Yali's thoughts on the whole immaculate, the red pulling in the uterus.
the forceception.
Forceception. I don't. Well, first of all, the whole lesbians having babies thing is not a new thing in like media
in Earth.
But in this particular thing, there's an old anime called Bandred, which has a very similar plot, which is a bunch of it's a planet with only women, and then they kind of have like a similar process of just, you know, women being able to have babies without men. It's not through the Force, but it's a scientific process. But it's not like a new thing in media. So I wasn't like, oh my god, lesbians can have babies. What? But I also don't think that their midichlorians are out of the equation, because they did do a blood draw out of the twins too. So I'm like, oh, they checking for midichlorians as well. So I think they're like, they probably want to know like what the midichlorian levels of the twins are. So I think they're curious about that as well. We just didn't get to see what the results were of what their midichlorian levels were. I think that them saying like, oh, they were created from the thread of the Force, I think that was like to the nerds. See, like Anakin was created from the Force, guys. See, right? The only problem is everyone heard lesbians. What the fuck? Lesbians can't.
As if that's
babies.
The weirdest thing in a galaxy far, far
that happened in the whole fucking episode.
All right. Not green people, not Jabba the Hutt.
No,
not the constant incestual undertones of the Skywalker saga. Lesbians is the tipping point.
That's what it was. But to me, I was just like, it felt like, again, Lindsay, paid attention to everything in the Star Wars universe. She paid attention to what fan theory, she paid attention to what like the community and all the fans were interested in, and literally threw that in. It's like, yo, I felt like she even felt like that's the theory I believe in. Let's put that shit in there. And I personally just thought it was dope. I think she also paid attention to like, okay, midichlorians were the thing that they introduced in the prequels. We still need to kind of keep that in there, hence the blood draw. So I feel like she did a good job of combining all of those things and giving something that makes fucking sense. So I was like, all right, I'm down with the shit. When the lesbian's like, okay, we got this baby, I was like, oh, it's the Force. Like I was out there screaming. I was like, this shit is so cool. So I was with it. I was like, it confirms a lot what people believe. It took some of the shit that was already introduced. It's a great combination. What are we mad at? Like I was really excited about it. The implications of it all, and the idea that, you know, what's it called? Palpatine might be on. He was on some shit, and then maybe it wasn't Plagueis who started that bullshit, or like you said, Plagueis learned from these people, or they, you know, he got the idea from them, or like you said, like he taught it to them on some like, you know, this is part of my big scheme, y'all. You know what I mean? Because she said like do some miraculous, you know, gift from the heavens, or it could be just man trying to, you know, get a little something for his ultimate plan.
Did you peep during the ceremony, like Magic Mom, she like used the word unnatural, which reminded me of like episode.
I missed that. Thank you for pointing it out.
Yeah, so when she's like when she's doing like her speech before the ascension, she's like kind of describing like how they were like cast out and brink of extinction and everything.
Her words were, some people would deem it unnatural.
Yeah, she said some people would deem it unnatural.
Okay. How I did not pick up on that makes me a little mad at myself, but I'm thankful that I have friends who pointed out to me.
Some would deem it unnatural.
Yeah, she said. I was just like, she said the thing.
That's it. Yeah, I was like, again, I honestly feel like this episode was very fan servicey, and I was like, as a fan, I felt service. So
as a fan, I felt service. That needs to be the name of this episode in quotations.
As a lesbian, I also felt service as a lesbian. So I was gonna say, all fronts, happy Pride Month to me. So that's my comment.
Well, I also very much
name of this episode: Lovin in the Coven. Parentheses, as a fan, I felt serviced.
So the thing I wanted to put a pin in, and I do apologize because I am all over the place. I think I can win a bet if I bet on enough things happening, right? So something that you had said, Matt, while you were going
that's how gambling addictions start, Mike.
You sure are right about that one. Annie, I am not okay. But anyways,
a gambling addiction.
So I think something that may have instigated the fire or started the whole thing is I think that they were there investigating Force-sensitive children. And then when they found out there was no father, something might have clicked in their head where it's like, oh shit, these children could be part of the prophecy. Obviously not the actual prophecy, we know Anakin becomes that. But maybe that's why they instigate and are so aggressive in trying to take the children. And that's what actually...
I like that a lot, actually.
So I think that there's a lot more there. I love it. I'm a big fan of it. I think that it plants a lot of seeds. Like Yali said, as a fan, I felt serviced. Like, it was very good. I love this connective tissue without being so... Listen, the best part of a shared universe is the fact that we are able to connect all of these things and these broader stories. And something could take place 100 years before the Skywalker saga and still have implications that make me appreciate things that happen in the fucking Skywalker saga. It's the strength of these large canon timelines, and I'm happy about it. To me, I think we've hit all of the main talking points of this episode, but I want to throw it out to you guys before we dive into one, Yali's PSA, and two, some Easter eggs and references I got to close things out. So Matt, I'll throw it out to you first. Is there anything you feel like we didn't cover? And then obviously pass it on to Yali.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like all like the big things that I wanted to talk about, we definitely went over. I do like seeing Osha's like her early mech-neckness. Like when the Wookiee Jedi was like fixing the speeder, she was just like, "Oh, okay, what's going on over there?" Fixing up some things, and she had her little tool that like got her out. Got her out of the thing. Yeah, so I really like that a lot. Again, like I'm just gonna harp again. If we do revisit this flashback with these two twins again, like I just really like how these two sisters like portrayed very different characters. Like, and because again, we've really not gotten a lot of screen time with them as adults, especially like the main character. Like it's kind of like sparingly here and there, and they obviously haven't had like a conversation or anything like that, or we haven't gotten like too much exposition heavy stuff from them outside of like conversations that they had to move the show forward. But I really felt like I got a lot out of them from this episode. Like them as kids, like I feel like I completely understand them as adults way better without them even having said shit about how their temperaments are as adults, which I can't really think of another show. This was a very well used flashback. I will say, and I can't really think of another show or another flashback type sequence that like really helped actually grow the present timeline by showing the flashback. Usually flashbacks, like you were saying, Mikey, are used to just like kind of paint a better picture of some shit that we knew was coming. Like, oh, here comes the flashback for this thing. But like not having the twins really interact with one another as adults and like having them kind of like be embroiled in like this murder mystery show, we haven't really got to like flush them out as adults yet. And I feel like this show, I like I don't really need much more from them character-wise development as adults. Like, I'm just fine with going forward with the story. Like, I feel like these girls did such a good job with like what their motivation was as 8-year-olds. It's like, I get it. Like, I get it, which also takes me back to the ending of episode 2. Like when Osha like had that moment of, oh shit, my sister is alive. Bitch, you killed everybody. Like when to like shoot it. So like just seeing this flashback scene and like from her recollection, like, damn, last time we spoke you said you were gonna kill me. It made that scene so much more powerful. Like with her with the stun gun and everything. So brava.
Yali, any final thoughts on this episode?
I really want to just again highlight the production level of this fucking show. I cannot get over the costume work of the show. Like, everything feels super intentional. The hair, whoever does hair, once again, the hair department is doing the motherfucking thing. Riva really fucked up when she left.
Look, and look, we ain't never seen her again. She's like, I can't come outside. I can't come outside ever again.
You gotta get back. Join the Coven because the hair in the Coven looks sweet. Also, Lee Jung Jae, when we see him in the present, immaculate. But when they made him younger, he just looked younger. Like, it was so fucking good. Like, and it didn't even look like sometimes when they try to make the person look younger, you just like, bro, that's just you in a wig. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of the cool kids. You know what I mean? Like that.
Like Michael Douglas in the Ant-Man flashbacks. Yeah, just got the wig on.
You in a wig. You know what I mean? But he just looked like he looked young. Like, he felt young. It felt
all they did was quaff his bang, and he lost 30 years. 30 years. Lost 30 years.
I did see a meme that was like, when Christian Bale was young Bruce Wayne, they're like, just give this haircut to a man and he looks 20 years younger.
Yes, like
facts.
But he looked young. It felt really authentic. Like, I really appreciate like how intentional everything is in the show. Like, it's really, really immaculately done. Also, I have one real gripe with this episode, and that was when they were doing the ceremony, and I don't know what the fucking choice was with the song. It bugged me.
Oh, hated that shit, bro. That shit was so bad.
It was, listen, Star Wars has some of
like
the best.
Power of many. I was like, shut the fuck up. I hated it so much, yo.
I was like, what is this? I hated it. At first, I thought like maybe I was like something was wrong with my phone when I was listening. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like,
that was rough.
You heard it here first. Coven's great for character design, not great for sound mixing and music.
Jingles, not so much.
No, I literally turned it off and turned it back on. Like, I thought I did something wrong. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like,
it's not even the chant, it's the melody. I was fine with the chant, but like, why are you singing the last part? I hate it.
It was dope, but the way they sounded like
Power of Manny. I was like, ugh, it's cringy, yo.
A little flat, just a little flat.
Yeah, like watch your pitch. Watch your pitch.
I'm like, Star Wars usually has some of the best music ever, but this one song, I was like, this is a dink. Like, this is
I can do it out there. Oh shit! One point it might be in the Easter eggs. Never mind.
Yeah,
I forgot we hadn't got to that
yet. Well, if I don't bring it up, please bring it up, Matt. Really don't put a pin in it.
I got you.
I really want to highlight how great the production has been on this show. Like, everything has been crisp, hair, makeup, set design. All of it, like every choice you can tell has been made with like purpose going forward. So like they've killed it, except for maybe Torben's ball. I don't know what that's about.
I have felt that way about almost every show except for like Kenobi was the only one that felt like it was filmed on the volume. Out of like the last few, I think Ahsoka felt much more broader in scope, and it felt like there was just. Whatever they're doing, keep going in that direction, because I agree. I think the production has just elevated. Nothing's going to be quite Andor level. However, that should be a goal to strive for that level of production every time, and if they can find it in their budget to do so, then I would hope that they do. But Yali, there was something, I think we
Disney. They got their fucking budget.
They got the money. There was something, we talked a little bit about it, just kind of, obviously as we went through social media, and you can kind of just see the different takes that are being had about this show, and you really wanted to just give the audience some I don't know, is lip service the right thing here? You have something to say, and I want to let you pop your shit off, because as a cisgendered straight white man, the message can come from me to put people in their place, but I think you guys, obviously being part of minorities who are like, I feel like having to fight tooth and nail for representation, which just should not be this way. I mean, it's fucking 2024. I could see how a lot of the discourse could be like even more annoying. So please, I'll shut the fuck up now and allow you to pop off.
All right, so I'm calling this Chewbacca on this.
I'll find a sounder.
You got to do the Wookiee noise, bro.
That's all I got. I'm fucking tired of you. First of all, I'm fucking tired of y'all. And when I say y'all, I'm talking to men. And listen, as a person who loves men, because I'm an equal opportunist whore, I love everybody. You know what I'm saying? As a Coven of Lovin, I Coven of love on everything, honestly. But I am so
next Barbie, baby.
I'm Xing on everything. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sick and tired of the idea that Star Wars has been a franchise about men. No, the fuck it has not been. Have you not watched a Star Wars? Have you not read a Star Wars? Have you not played a Star Wars? Star Wars has been a story about strong female characters from the very motherfucking beginning. Are you fucking kidding me? First of all, Leia Organa.
Ain't she like the first character on screen in the original Star Wars?
Where were you? Literally. Mon Mothma, like, literally is holding the whole fucking shit down. She's making decisions.
She's definitely Space Jesus.
Literally. They got to report to this woman. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you
She's got the soul haircut.
Women. Also, that's a fire ass haircut. First of all.
I do always find it funny, like, especially watching Andor, that like at some point in time, Mon Mothma decided to stop wearing clothes and just switch to a toga. She's like, you know what? This is so much more rebellious. I'm making decisions. I want to be fucking comfortable. What are you saying right now? Word.
Every single trilogy has nothing but strong women ignoring the fuck what men are saying and getting shit done. If there are no
sequel trilogy has a female protagonist as the main character.
All of them. And y'all gave Rey a hard fucking time. Because Rey's a Mary Sue.
Sure.
First of all, y'all don't know what the fucking Mary Sue was until fucking Landis' son said something, and that man turned to be a fucking pervert. So look at your fucking hero, okay? Look at your fucking hero. Now he
tell him.
Look at yourselves. Y'all fucking stupid. I'm tired of it. We have, oh my god, lesbians. Y'all fucking watch lesbian porn. Are you playing with me right now? Lesbian porn is the most #1 search thing on the fucking internet. So don't fucking play with me, okay?
And I'm pretty sure they watch alien cosplay lesbian porn.
Yep.
I feel like
Absolutely.
That's a thing. I feel like that's a trending topic.
But it's like literally, what are y'all talking about? Stop acting like you don't like women in your Star Wars. If there wasn't for women in your Star Wars, most of the things that happen that make Star Wars great wouldn't be fucking great. What are you talking about? I was in the theaters, and when Leia died, 2 men next to me were boo-hoo fucking crying. So I don't want to hear it. Okay? Carrie Fisher died, y'all was boo-hoo crying. Don't fucking play with me right now. It's stupid as hell. Without women, Star Wars would not be what it is. Luke had no motivation to do anything if it wasn't for Leia.
Until he wanted to fuck his sister. It's the only thing that got him off the planet.
I mean, that's weird. Weird as hell.
But they was okay with incest. They was okay with incest.
Y'all love incest. Don't play with me. Y'all Game of Thrones? Don't play with me. House of the Dragons? That's all incest, okay? All incest.
Facts. Like all your main characters are related and fucking.
Every last one of them. But still, he would still be stuck on Tatooine playing with his toys or whatever if he didn't see Leia. We need to stop acting like Star Wars is not about women. That's all I want to say. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it.
Big
also,
facts.
Rogue One, Jen, come on. Fucking amazing. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. Get over it. Just enjoy Star Wars for what it is. A franchise about people far, far away just trying to get through life. That's it. And also weird incest. I don't know. Why we got so much incest and everything? What the fuck?
I don't know. Man kissed my sister twice on the mouth.
Let's just stick it out.
Yali said,
that's weird.
"Get in, losers. We're driving to the fucking Space Mall. We're driving to Coruscant, and the women are driving, and you're coming along for the ride.
Women are driving. Get in, loser.
Stay away from the power couplings. Obi-Wan always says. Obi-Wan always says, stay away from the power couplings.
He does say that.
You want some death sticks, my guy?
Well, that gets you to chill the fuck out. You need some death sticks, brother. You need to
take
go
a
home
drag of a death stick.
Is that what you need?
Go home, rethink your life, and then go watch a Star Wars again.
Watch a Star Wars and just chill the fuck. That's all it is. Relax. It's also
and you know what's even real.
Yeah, none of this is real.
Let's highlight that it's a fictional TV show, but let's the part that's crazy for me to conceptualize. How are y'all about to try to die on this hill and there isn't even any overtly lesbian imagery that happens in this episode? And let me make this clear. They could have slobbed each other down and I would have been here for it. I'd have been like, yeah, Space Lesbians, let's go. But it's like, oh, because they stood close to each other in a hallway talking about their kids? Like, oh no, too gay. Like, I was like, what?
They're being good moms. You know what? It's because they didn't have one good mom. So they're jealous of those kids having two good moms.
Yeah, like what is this public out? Because you know what's crazy? Like my first watching, like until I saw the crazy backlash of like, oh, lesbians in Star Wars, I didn't even necessarily take them as a lesbian couple. That's not even like how that played to me. I was like, oh, like it's family shit. Like it felt like a coven of witches who all support and love each other and take care of each other, and they like had kids. Like I didn't even look at it as like a necessity. Like, but again, for representation, if they're lesbians, more power to them. Like I said, could have slobbed each other down in that episode. I would have been here for it. But I'm just like, nothing too overtly gay even happened, and there's nothing wrong if it did. So it's like, why is this the outcry? You know what's crazy? Total parallel, but it's a Disney thing. Have either one of y'all watched the new Doctor Who?
Yes, I fucking love it.
Me too. Love it. So Yali, I guess my question would be for you. You know, like that show's getting like hit for like being overly woke. Do you think if that show hadn't come out yet, The Acolyte would have been? Because I have this weird thought that there's a bunch of people who like are really just like misplaced anger because they're so pissed about the Doctor Who shit, and they're trying to be on some like, oh, Disney's out here trying to make sure everybody gets a piece. And I feel like it's like a trickle down effect. I will say I do love the Doctor Who, but I do feel like it does pander sometimes. Like as a black, I feel like the only reason oh, go ahead. What you gonna say?
I was gonna say the only pandering I would say is that it has a lot of like pop culture celebrities, like cameos.
No, I'm fine with that.
I think to me that's the pandering. There's like a lot of cameos of like people like who have nothing really to do with Doctor Who except they like Doctor Who. Like
for sure.
That's my pandering. I'm like,
for clarification I will say for the pandering, like this show's too woke. That makes no sense. Like, what does that mean to be too woke? Like, oh, I'm too inclusive. Like, the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
So my part for the pandering,
it's a reflection of times, right?
So where I say with the pandering, I do feel like Shooty, the actor that plays like this newest Doctor, I do feel like he overacts sometimes. Like that one single tear in every episode takes me out of it every time. Like you gotta, thugs do cry. but every time, like, oh, he stubbed his toe, single tear. every time, like, all right, bro, we get it. Black men can be emotional. I don't need that every episode. The single tear. He is a thug, and I love him. He does a great job. Like I every Friday, I'm waiting for that shit. Like I'm tapped in. But do you think that could be part of it? Because, like, again, like, no overtly, like, nothing too crazy happened in this episode, but I feel like people are so heightened sense of, like, bigotry. Like, oh, Disney keeps trying to put wokeness into all my favorite things. And it's just catching stray bullets. Like, it's just I just want
to apologize to Mikey for the tangent, but it might be only because the same thing that's happening with Doctor Who and now they act like it's the same thing that happened with the new Little Mermaid cartoon show where Ariel and her family are all black and people are like, Ariel's not black. I'm like, you do know mermaids are not real.
Yeah, I mean, hey, let's not speak in definises. We don't know. The ocean is undiscovered.
Ariel
or Ariel's not Ariel specifically.
None of them are real, so it doesn't actually matter. Like, that's my first line of defense. Like, who cares?
Caring about the race of your made-up Disney half-fish woman is crazy.
Also, this show is on Disney Junior, and it's cute as fuck. So, if you don't like it, don't pay for Disney Junior.
I'm about to say, word. Like,
yeah, right.
That's definitely not in the base package plan. You gotta pay extra to get Disney Junior.
Oh, man.
I want to watch Bluey. That's it. So
that's what I have Disney Plus for. That's what I have Disney
No,
Plus
I want to watch
for
it in real time. I want to watch Bluey in real time with the rest of the parents while we're all crying together.
People think that I have my subscription for the Marvel and Star Wars stuff, but in reality, it's actually just all Bluey all the time.
Dog, I go to bed to Roly Poly Oly regularly.
No, Roly Poly is the shit.
Like Roly Poly,
you know what, man?
things are
a little more simple in the Roly Poly universe. You got spheres, you got cubes, and everyone gets along. I don't understand why we can't just take those lessons and apply it to real life and apply it to Star Wars and even mermaids.
He's small and smirk and round.
Ooh,
and
bars.
I'm just saying,
shit.
Bars.
In a world of curves and swirls, he's the swellest kid around. That's all I'm saying.
Boom.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all he's saying. That's all he's saying.
That's all I mean.
That has been Chewbacca on that with Yali Perez.
We love Space Lesbians.
Shout out to Rogue One for his little tangent in there about Doctor Who. Can't say that I care about that too much, but the same bullshit happening is really
watch your mouth
across all of fandoms. Just let people exist, and if you're looking for something with a straight white protagonist, maybe watch every movie from, like, I don't know, 1960 through 1999, maybe even 2010.
Not Highlander. There can only be one.
But all right, I'm ready to dive into Easter eggs if you guys are.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, let's wrap it back around to the Easter eggs and references from this episode. So, first one I got here, Boonta Tree, clear nod to the Boonta used in the previous episode. Also, I guess, the namesake of the Boonta Eve Classic.
I was just about to say, is that what the Boonta Eve
Surprised we didn't bring that up last time. Next thing I got here, Anastaea's description of the thread sounds eerily similar to the Force, while also invoking imagery of the Great Fates pulling threads, similar to how the
she said some people call it the Force.
Right. So what she talks about, and she's like, it binds us, like, that much is very, like, okay, obviously this is a reference to the Yoda quote from before. Yeah.
Word.
And then the other thing I have here, Mother Coral is the first live-action female Zabrak we've ever seen. So female Zabraks have been in the Clone Wars, and I don't think they showed up in Rebels, but yes, there's a bounty hunter that's, like, pretty. She pops up a few times.
Didn't Count Dooku choke one before?
No, that's a Zygerian, and they were also, for the first time, we forgot to mention that on the last episode, first Zygerian in live action.
Dooku, like, choked the shit out of one, and I was like, bruh, what's wrong with you?
Dooku looks like he's a choker. That seems like his king.
Another Easter egg, Indara only has one eye tattoo for when she's
and then there's two
in the future.
In the present,
so while that is, like, kind of an Easter egg, I wonder if it has a plot implication as well. Is it for something? Like, is it for something good that she did or something bad that she did? Right? Maybe there's, like, some.
She said 1 dot for good guy, 2 dots for bad. That's what she
got it. And then this is the first time Star Wars has ever been told entirely in flashback form. Now, I don't mean, like, obviously the prequels take place in the past compared to the original trilogy, but for, like, a running show, this is the first time that we've had,
the whole
like,
episode
whole episode is a flashback. So nice to see that they're kind of using, I don't want to say conventional, but it is kind of like a conventional plot TV device. And I know, Matt, did I cover your Easter egg, or do you have
No, you didn't.
one for me to share?
Yeah, you didn't get my Easter egg. I'm excited because you usually get them all, and then I just have to just co-sign yours. But going back to the whole kids being born from the Force, which is very reminiscent to Anakin's backstory, and Anakin is from Tatooine. This planet had 2 moons instead of 2 suns.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you guys for bringing this up, because the 2 moons have a red ring and a blue ring, just like the logo. So thank you for calling that out. I can't believe I didn't put that on my list, but I appreciate you. Yali, anything you caught that we did not?
Like I said, the only thing that I felt like was Easter egg was them testing for blood, which is what Qui-Gon did with Anakin when he first met him. So I was like, we had
the Loth cat in the Jedi test.
The Loth cat. I know.
Another good one. Yeah, a lot of Phantom Menace. I'm surprised that I can't believe I forgot to put them on my list. But thank you, Yali, for calling out the midi-chlorian test. It's a clear call out to Bad Batch as well, where we saw a lot of that being taken. And then
the M count.
And then also the test on the iPad, which don't tell me that wasn't an iPad in the Phantom Menace.
Oh yeah,
that was where they got the idea from. Steve Jobs was like, I'm gonna make that a thing.
Yeah. No, but what Yali was about to say, I like that a lot. I know we talked about it, so I guess technically it wouldn't be an Easter egg, but yeah, like having his face not be in focus, but you can see that there's a scar there now, and you're like, that couldn't have happened from a fire. Like, so I like that part, how they kept him focus.
Master Torben's hair, he had like the braid thing that like Obi-Wan had in like the
Padawan braid
too. Like, the Padawan braid. I was like, oh, look at it. I got a lot of like, the episode felt a lot like the first, like Phantom Menace. Like that whole vibe. I know like a lot of people feel like Soul gives like Qui-Gon Jinn vibes, and I get that
I do
too.
feel that way.
And so Torben gives me a lot of like Obi-Wan vibes from the beginning too. So I feel like we'll get a lot of that juxtaposition between the two of them. So like a lot of that.
It's funny you mentioned that, Yali, because I said that Yord reminded me of Episode 1 Obi-Wan in his like eagerness to dive into action. So I wonder if we will see traces of a lot of these Jedi we know and love.
I feel like that's going to be Torben's thing too. Also, I don't think that Obi-Wan had the same abs as Yord.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if you... Sorry, go ahead, Yali.
I was going to say, also, I am part of the Yord Horde that has...
I was just about to bring that up. Thank you. Okay, perfect. I literally was going to be like, if you live under a rock and you're a huge Star Wars fan, how could you have not seen the Yord Horde stuff? They even had... it's oh my god, what's his name? Is Charlie Bennett? Is that his name?
I think so.
Okay, he like literally came into Lucasfilm and was signing like stickers. Thank you to anyone who's listening to this that created any Yord meme. They're fucking hilarious. I think they're so funny.
No, he's seen the Yord Horde stuff. He's like been replying to it.
He did a whole video about it. He was sending out personalized Yord Horde stickers. Like fantastic.
He loves it. Like he loves the Yord Horde situation, and I applaud him for supporting us and our support of him. Because I saw that scene, I said, "Ooh, I thought it was going to be my homeboy, Kirmir, but it was the Yord Horde that secured the deal for me." I was saying, okay. Also, I will note that Carrie Ann Moss's bangs, I don't know. Something about the bangs give me helmet, gives me, I'm the bad guy with the teeth. I don't know if it's just me.
Look, I'm trying to tell you, man.
I don't know.
Matt's going to be so happy if it ends up being her. He's been calling this since the trailers.
It's just her temperament. Like, even her temperament and just like the flashback, like just like there was a very condescending tone to like how she spoke, like, and even it was so crazy, like again, like she bold-faced lied, we thought this planet wasn't uninhabited, and then literally in the same stream of consciousness she was just like, training kids to do dark magic is bad, give us the kids so we can train them to do magic.
Also Torben is her Padawan. He was getting choked the fuck out. She didn't do shit.
She didn't do shit.
Nothing.
Like,
I'm like,
she
your
just stood
homie
there.
is dying. She was like, you know what I mean?
We'll see how this plays out before we close this thing out.
It sounds like. So yeah, the bangs gave me helmet vibes. I was like, I could see her being in a helmet, totally fine. She got them, uncomfortable as bangs. So
I'm trying to tell you,
I've had those bangs. They're not comfortable. It is not comfortable.
lot of this going on. Blowing your hair out, y'all.
Literally, I can't do it no more. So. Also, shout out to them for having a parents of color, because that's a black woman and a Hispanic woman, and I said yes, representation. Happy Pride Month to us.
Hell yeah.
Happy Pride Month to us.
I would also like to say I like how they made the black mom be the nice one. like nice change of pace.
Yes. Either way, both know how to use a chancla.
1,000%.
Either way.
1,000%.
Don't make me take this shoe off, is what both of them were saying.
Word.
I don't know. One pushed him with the force, so.
I'm about to say, she definitely knocked them back, like almost cracked their shit on the steps behind them. I was like, oh no, the steps.
Yali,
my
you're
parent came out, like, I got the babies.
Of many hats, do you have anything going on other than your executive producing of Dragon Ball for Life that we can shout out for you here on Annie? Are you okay?
I just want to say, head to the Gamers Twitch channel on Tuesday. Support all the ambassadors who will be twitching on Tuesdays. I love every one of those kids. Some of them are older than me, but they kids because I take care of them and support them, and I handpick them myself. They're great people. And support Dragon Ball for Life. Support Annie. Are you okay? And you got some announcement about Cospalooza coming up again, so look out for that. Be ready to support that. And then shout out to all the team members getting married, trying to make me feel bad. It doesn't work because I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm
marriage? What marriage?
What marriage?
What marriage?
What marriage?
I'm a single guy.
Hit me up on the Instagram.
She didn't marry nobody.
I ain't a marrying kind.
Oh man. Okay. Well, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the letters ANI. Are you okay? Pod. Again on Instagram and Twitter, and you can follow our sister podcast Dragon Ball for Life, where Matt and our good friend Travis talk about all things anime, interview your favorite voice actors, and are currently diving through the Dragon Ball Z movies. They've been super fun to listen to, so definitely go check out that if you're interested there. Also, shout outs to our other team members, Paul, Anchi, Tay, Yali for being here. We all make teamwork makes the dream work, or as Matt likes to say, same band, same sound. I might have fucked that up, but
one band, one sound. You got it.
I try. There's just too much going on rattling in his head. You're right. Two
boxes equal one fun.
There
you go. I'm putting a kibosh. Don't say it's the name of the episode. We already got the name of the episode.
we got the name of the episode. We're locked in.
But Rogue One, do what you do best and close this bad boy out for us.
I got you, brother. Well, Animaniacs, it's been one hell of a ride. And, like we always say here, it can be Carrie-Ann Moss. It could be Dental Floss. It could be Rick Ross. It could be let's go outside and have a toss.
Thanks, Dad.
It could be May. Life can be a beach, but as long as there's no sand, you guessed it, Annie gonna be okay.
Be okay. We're just gonna keep doing it.